Hi, I'm Claire Jenson. I am a graduate student in the art history department at the University of Chicago, and I was recipient of one of the Undergraduate Research Awards at the Forum last year in 2012. But it was for the years 2010, 2011. When I was abroad, I undertook to reconstruct somewhat in a digital way a 13th century liturgical manuscript, a 13th century Northern French manuscript that was used during the celebration of the Mass. So, like any manuscript project, you kind of work on understanding the book and understanding about its history, but the particular problem of my project was it was cut up at the beginning of the 20th century, the sad fate of many medieval manuscripts. In the 18th and the 19th and 20th century, a lot of these collectors, it was more important, the aesthetic value of the pages was more important than kind of the continuity of the book itself. So they cut up the pages and sold them to a bunch of different collectors. So my project was to find out where the pages are in contemporary university and library collections. And by taking this liturgy class when I was abroad, which was, so invaluable to my research, find out what the book would have looked like in its original state, where the pages as they are now would have been positioned in the original book, and find out more about its author, not its author, but its owner, the man who used it during the celebration of the Mass. So I guess I'd divide that into two ways. I mean, there's the aspect of doing individual research, which is so critical if you're doing any kind of academic work, whether that's art history or science or social science. It's finding a project that you love and being able to kind of explore it is wonderful. And when I was abroad, I was able to undertake that project in a unique way because there were new and different and just incredible resources where I was based. I was in Paris. Resources like the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, which has a gigantic manuscript library, especially good in French medieval manuscripts. But also research institutes. I worked closely with the Institut de Recherche et d'Histoire des Textes, which is a kind of a manuscript, medieval, which has a lot of scholars that specialize in medieval manuscript studies. And these kinds of resources helped me undertake my research, my particular project, in a way that I wouldn't have been able to do on campus. And that's kind of one avenue, and certainly it was critical. The people who read my graduate school application were able to see that I was able to do this kind of research, to take advantage of local resources in a different country. And I mean, it was pretty much the reason why I got in, and where I found that love, where I found the love of doing research abroad, to know that I wanted to continue in the field, and it helped me kind of accomplish it. But in another way, it was also the experience of taking classes in another country. The French education system is very different from the American, and they have very different values. It got me thinking about why I do what I do, and how we all learn, right? How I had been learning at Oberlin, where I was an undergrad, and how I would like to continue to learn and kind of build an academic life. And having both the theoretic focus, which I got at Oberlin, and this kind of very rigorous, very historical training with the local resources, which is what I got in France, they strike me as completely complementary modes of education, and being able to have them both was extremely valuable, extremely valuable. I'm loving being a graduate student so far, and I'm in a PhD program, so I will be continuing school for quite a while. But certainly, with an art history degree, you either teach or you pursue museum work. Both sound like excellent opportunities for me. But I do lean towards either being in a teaching museum or a teaching university, because the whole reason you undertake a project for your own personal satisfaction, but being able to share that with other people is extremely rewarding. It can be very scary to be plopped down in a new place, even if you don't have a project you want to work on. Certainly when I arrived in France, I knew that I was going to try to make the most of my education when I was abroad and try to get everything out of where I was that I could. I had no idea I could have made so much progress on my project. I astonished myself, and the resources astonished me. My advice would be to have confidence. I think this is something that I'm only realizing now, a year later, that kind of helped me take advantage of my time there. Just go for it. It can be very, very scary, and we all have those little self-doubts that creep in every now and then. But it's the faculty members, in my experience, the faculty members that work on material close to what you're interested in are just enthusiastic about their topic, and they are dying to have students just as thrilled to study what they study. So the nature of faculty members is that they want to help students. So don't be shy about asking after, staying around after class, no matter what your language skills are, and saying, listen, I've got this project, and if you just explain it to them, they'll get as excited about it as you are.